Jenifer. Today we are going to warm up and then we are going to do a beginner tumbling class. So first we're just going to start off with stretching. So everybody's going to start in a big straddle. Everybody give me a big straddle, pointed toes. Make sure your knees are facing up toward the ceiling. And we're going to stretch over your butt. So big straddle. Now you want to make sure that you're reaching over the top, over your ears. Your back is straight so that you get a nice stretch out your side and through your legs. Make sure you're rotating your feet backwards so that your little toes are not going forward and touching the floor. And switch. Now this is where it's really important that you push your little toes back toward the floor. Everybody go forward, middle. And you really want to work on that turnout. And your turnout is going to help you with your leaps and your jumps. So you want to make sure that you're not turning those big toes to the floor. It is better to keep your legs straight and your toes facing up than to go all the way down. And pike. Nice straight legs. Make sure you push the back of your knees into the floor and point your toes. If you can't reach past your toes, then just go ahead and grab the top of your feet or your ankles. And then we're going to flex our feet and pull your heels off the floor. Same thing, make sure you keep your legs nice and straight. And give me a butterfly. Feet together. Now you want to try to push down your knees. You can either use your elbows like Emily over here, or you can use your hands if your arms aren't quite long enough like Miss Olivia back here. And just push down. Then you're going to slide your feet slightly in front of you, just a little, and nose to your toes. Make sure you keep your nose to your toes. I know you might have stinky feet, but hey. All right, and now we're going to stretch out our arms. We're going to put our arms straight across our body, underneath, and pull. Make sure you don't have any elephant trunks. Keep them nice and high and pull them in tight. You should feel the stretch in your shoulder. And switch, other arm across your body, underneath, and pull. Same thing, keep that arm nice and high, don't droop it down, but don't put it too high either. Just straight across your body. All right, good job. Now we're going to do behind our heads. We're going to take our hand, pat yourself on the back, grab that elbow, and pull. Try to keep your backs nice and straight. And switch. Other hand behind your back, pull your elbow. Good job, girls. All right, and now we're going to stretch out our wrists. So everybody's going to be on your knees. Your fingers are going to face your knees first and press down. Make sure you're sitting back on your heels and you keep your arms nice and straight. You don't want to bend those elbows. And flip them over, facing the same direction like you're holding a tiny little baby, and rock side to side. Locking out your elbows and sitting back on your feet. Then wrist to wrist. Same thing, rock side to side, nice straight arms, sitting back on your heels. And shake them out. down on your knees. You're gonna put one foot out in front. You're gonna make sure you have one hand on each side of your leg, and you're gonna go forward into your splits. Make sure that your back is nice and straight. You keep your back knee tucked under and the top of your foot on the floor in the back, and point your toe in the front. Now remember guys, when you're doing your splits, you don't want to be sitting on your bottom. So you want to try to stay on top, just like that. Very nicely. And then we're going to do arms up for 3, hold, 1, 2, 3. Good. And bring those legs together, shake them out. Now we're going to do the other leg. Everybody up on your knees. Put your other leg out in front. Make sure your back knee stays tucked under, back foot, and slide forward into your splits. And try. Now, if you can't go all the way down, it's a little bit harder to get your shoulders back, so you can still stay leaning forward. Just make sure you stay squared, which is keeping that back knee tucked under and keeping your belly button facing forward to whatever wall is in front of you. And bring those legs together, shake them out. All right, now we're going to do our middle splits. We're just going to stand tall in a big straddle, and you're going to let your feet slide out to the side and put those elbows forward onto the floor. You want to make sure that the sides of your feet are on the floor, not the bottom, and try to point those toes. Make sure you're not leaning your hips back too far. You want to stay right on top. Okay, right here, Miss Olivia has her feet flat on the floor. We just want to flip them out to the side so the side of her feet are on the floor. There we go. And then you're going to put your chest to the floor for 3. 1, 2, 3. Jump. Bring those legs together, shake them out. Alright, so we're going to start our warm up. Everybody's going to go up against the wall for me. So the first thing we're going to start off with is frog jumps. Make sure that when you guys do your frog jumps that you go all the way down, touch the floor, and then reach up to the ceiling as you jump up. Okay, so you guys ready? Emily and Leah, go. Big jumps, pushing through those feet. Try to point your toes off the floor. Big jumps, reach up, look up. There you go. Awesome. Run back. Just run back, Miss Olivia. Alright, now if you don't have the space to do frog jumps while you're moving, you can always do frog jumps in place. So I would say everybody do at least, or do 10 frog jumps, and you'll just go down and up, down and up, and it's just super easy just to stay in one spot. So next thing we're going to do are bear walks. Straight legs, ready? Go. Good, go ahead. Nice straight legs. Very nice. You want to try to keep your legs nice and straight when you do these. And we're just going to run back to all the way down. Now we're going to do our rebounds. When you do your rebounds, you want to make sure your toes and your heels are together and arms are glued to your ears. When you're jumping, you don't want to bounce your arms, and you don't really want to bend your knees a lot. You want to push through your toes and your ankles. So when you're popping, try not to bend those knees too much. Okay? Go. Squeezing those heels and toes together. Watch your arms, girls. And go. Squeeze those ears, Olivia. Good job. Very nice. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good job. And run all the way back. And the same same thing with the rebounds. You can do those in place, just standing there and do 10 of them, okay? All right, the next thing we are going to do is our split jumps, okay? So we're gonna do some split jumps. For those of you that don't know what a split jump is, okay, Emily's gonna do a split jump for you, ready? I'm gonna have you do it this way. Okay, do it one more time. There you go. So you wanna try to get that front leg up in front and your back leg up in the back. And you wanna look like you're doing splits in the air. So we're just gonna do some split jumps. They're gonna come forward, they're gonna jump up, split jump, and then finish and continue on. If you don't have space to move, the same thing, you can do your split jumps in place. Make sure you're really trying to lift those legs up. Okay, go ahead, Miss Olivia. Good job. Keep your belly button facing forward when you do your split jumps. Get your front leg up a little bit more. Good job. All right, and everybody run back. All right, we are going to take a 1-minute drink break, and then we'll be right back. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to do our handstand step outs and handstand snap downs. So go ahead. Make sure that you kick up to your handstands nice and tall. Get those feet together at the top. When you come down for your step out, you want to hit a good lunge and your snap down and feet together. Make sure you're pulling your arms up to your ears when you're coming up out of your handstands. Try to lock out those knees, keep your legs nice and straight. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on our cartwheels. You guys want to make sure that you start in your lunge nice and deep and make sure that your back leg is landing in front and your front leg will land in the back at the end of your cartwheels. Okay. Nice straight legs over the top. Make sure you're kicking that back leg for power. The harder you kick it up, the faster you'll go. Try to lock out your knees. You don't need your knees to do cartwheels, you just use your hips. Swinging. All right, now I know it's kind of hard to do some backward rolls at home, so all we're gonna do is we're just gonna work on going into the backward roll, but not actually pushing over so that we don't hurt the back of our necks. So you guys are gonna do more of a candlestick, putting our hands in our pizza position. So Emily, you wanna go ahead and demonstrate? You're gonna roll back and just push up, just like that. All right, you ready? Go ahead. Make sure your hands are touching the floor and really try to push with those arms. Keeping your knees and feet together. Now, if you do have mats or something at home to help with the back of your neck, you can go ahead and just do the backward roll. hardwood floors, you do not want your neck touching the floor. Very nice, just like that, super easy. All right, go ahead, pop that. Now we're going to work on just coming up out of our forward rolls. The most important thing is we don't want to put our hands to the floor and push ourselves up. So when you're coming out of your roll, you don't want to look like this and pulling those arms up. You want to reach for the ceiling and stand up using your leg muscles. So what we're going to do is everybody's going to start in their squat here, and you're just going to push forward and just stand up tall, keeping those arms at your ears. Try to keep your feet and knees together. Up, forward, up. Standing up. There you go. Stand all the way up, arms up. There you go. Sit all the way to the floor. Sit all the way to the floor. All the way to the floor. You guys are coming out of your forward roll, so your back and your bottom will touch the floor. So just make sure you sit down, even lift your feet off the floor if you need to. And then just reach forward, trying to reach up nice and tall. Okay. So the first jump we're going to work on is our tuck jump. We want to make sure that we are pulling our knees up to our chest. When you do your tuck jumps, you don't want to jump up and kick yourself in the bottom. You want them to come right up in front of you. So make sure that you guys pull them up nice and high, trying to knee yourself in the chest. All right, ready? Try to keep your heels and toes together the whole time. Thank you. Very nice. And go ahead and jog back, guys. The next thing we're going to do is our rebound jumps or our straight jumps. So you guys are just going to come down and we're going to pull straight up and jump high till you're finished. Okay? Make sure that you are pushing up through those toes and tucking your bottoms under when you land. Don't stick them out. Alright, go ahead and come back. Alright, so now if you guys are at home and you guys know how to do your cartwheels and your cartwheels look great, then I want you to try to do a little bit of a harder cartwheel. And that is a cartwheel from your knee. So you guys are going to go down to your knee, make sure that your good leg is in front, and you want to make sure that you stand completely up out of it before you kick your back foot over. So don't try to kick over from here. Make sure you stand up and then kick that back leg over the top for your cartwheel. Ready? There you go. Try to lock up those knees, keeping them nice and straight. And hitting those lunges, arms at your ears. For our line drills. And right now I'm just going to try to break down a couple skills for you guys so that parents can help your kids at home while you guys are doing your workout videos. So I'm going to have Emily come forward for me for a minute. Alright, we're going to have her face this way. Now start in your lunge. Now make sure that when you guys are doing handstands that your arms are nice and straight and your back is straight, and you want your hands and your back foot to stay in line the whole time as you're going into your handstands. So you're going to reach out as far as you can in front of you and kick your back foot up. The slower that back foot goes up, the harder it is to get to your handstand. So when you go up, go ahead and kick it up, Emily. And And you want to reach out as far as you can. Now, when you go into your cartwheels, go ahead and face forward. Oops, sorry. I was going to have you turn around. Turn and face camera. All right, so when you guys are going into your cartwheels, hit your lunge. You don't want to reach out off to the side too much as you're kicking over the top. You want to line that hand up with your front foot. So make sure you're reaching straight out in front of you as far as you can, kicking that back leg over the top. So go ahead and face the wall and demonstrate. Good cartwheel. Right over the top, nice and quick, and landing in her lunge. Alright, and that is all we have for today for our beginner tumbling. So you guys make sure you watch the videos and keep up the good work. Thanks.